Hi, I'm Wilson Bickford. I'm a professional artist and art instructor, and I've been doing classes for nearly 20 years now. I want to show you a very simple way to do a sky. Nice clear blue day, clear sky. This is going to be wet on wet with oil. This is a dry canvas at this point. I have a 2-inch Creative Mark primer brush, stiff bristle, but it's a big brush that'll get in there and cover a lot of the canvas in short order and get a lot of work done in a short time. I'm going to put a thin base coat on this canvas, and in lieu of one that's prepared, purchased type of base coat, I sometimes mix my own. What I'm going to take is some Grumbacher Alkyd medium or the Charvin quick dry medium would work as well. Any of the clear mediums would be fine. I'm going to take a little bit of a clear medium, which this happens to be the Grumbacher, and some titanium white oil paint. Thin that down so it's a thinner consistency like this, enough to be able to work it into the canvas. And the idea is to get a nice thin coat on the canvas, don't get it really heavy. And you're probably having trouble there seeing this where I'm putting it. I can tell by the shine on the canvas and the glare of the studio light here where I'm putting it. So just be aware that you don't need a heavy application of this. You want it fairly light and scrubbed in. Notice you don't see really any brush strokes in that. It's scrubbed in very thinly, and I'm literally scrubbing in. Notice how I'm just working that right into the weave of the canvas. This is just an 11 by 14 canvas panel, by the way. And just work it in evenly. You should be able to get a fingerprint on it at any point. So I test it with my fingers in different areas just to make sure that I can get a fingerprint. And I will now take a little bit of ultramarine blue into that dirty brush. And the idea is to paint the sky blotchily. Don't paint it solid. If I come in with just solid blue, it's going to look solid blue just like the wall behind me. It's going to look very flat. No life, no distance, no depth, no oompa. We want some oompa in this. So what I do is take this mixture. Now you could gray this slightly with brown, or you could make it a little more lavenderish by adding a touch of purple. It's not the color that's the important part. That's going to be your call. But what I want you to notice is the technique. I take the brush and I just gently flip it, roll it, twist it, turn it. Notice how I'm leaving pockets of white behind. That looks like atmosphere and distant clouds. I'm not painting big fluffy clouds this way, but it leaves the sky open so that you have a nice breathable sky with some atmosphere and depth. As I work lower, I'm using a lighter touch on the brush. It's picking up more of the white base coat. And notice it's getting a lighter value, which makes this area look far away. This will give you a deep sky. Now if I wanted to, I could always come back and enhance this. Watch this. I'm going to take a little bit of that same blue, the white and blue. I'll try to get, I need to mix more paint, so I'll try to get back to that same value. I'm going to take just a speck of red into that. And you'll see it turns it somewhat kind of a lavenderish purple tone. And my motto is it's easy to make a boring painting, but it's more challenging to make a nicer one. So I'm going to try to make this a little nicer, give it a little more interest. Now this is very brush stroke. We're going to blend this out momentarily. But see, if I come in with an even darker, deeper color, notice how much pizzazz that gives that. And the key is just to kind of roll the brush, and I squint at it as I'm doing this, because if I squint and look at it with half-closed eyes, I can see where the dark and light shapes are. It's easier to discern any edges. Now I could stop and clean this brush and wipe it off, or I do have a clean one right here next to me. Notice how interesting that is and how easily that goes in. I have another brush that was very similar, it's the same exact thing actually, to my previous brush. It just happened to be clean and dry. And I come in and I just use a big crisscross X stroke like this, just enough to soften it out. Now see, I've lost a lot of the white. If I wanted it with the white in it, I would have left it or put the purple in such a way that I left those patches of white exposed. So you can do this to whatever. This is more of almost an overcast sky now. If you wanted to bring the white back in, you simply take a fan brush or a flat brush, a lot of white paint on your brush, and I can actually put clouds in over the top of this as well. So don't be afraid to try this wet on wet method out. This works great for these backgrounds. It really does. It's a nice way. You can get real soft edges and blending where you want it. And pretty easy process to get a convincing sky. Just leave it blotchy, don't paint it solid like your wall. And see, I can put a cloud in like that, fade the bottom out a little bit, and that's a pretty good sky for the few minutes it took to put it in there. So give that a whirl. I think you'll have great success with it. Join me again next time.